dudes and chicks and neither if those rules don't apply to you. Welcome to Make for Less Time. My name is Katie. Today, I am going to be doing a get ready with me using a bunch of different shit. If you guys are curious to see what I'm using, then keep watching. I'm going to talk about astrology and I'm not going to be like blah, 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 bore you with a bunch of bullshit. I actually want to talk to you guys about how the way that it actually functions in my day to day. So if you guys are interested in hearing how astrology helps me on the reg, then just hang out. Or if you're curious to see how I got this look. I'm just putting on my Louise primer in Room 2. It's so funny. I remember back in the day when I used to first started doing my makeup and I would apply this with a brush, and now it's just so much easier to do it with my fingers that it's hard to use a brush. I think styles come and go though, sometimes I just switch it up. I'm going to be using the Louise Watch the Queen Conquer palette. Looks like this, and I'm just going to be using the pinks and magentas and whatnot. So I'm going to start with my Bold Morphe M506, and I'm going to go into the color Making Moves. This is going to be so pretty. So I want to talk about how astrology has changed my life and the things that it does for me on the day-to-day. So how it helps me live my life better. I'm a Virgo, and Virgo is my sun sign, and my whole life I have wondered why I'm actually quite literally the craziest, most disorganized, chaotic Virgo I've ever met. And so about 3 or 4 years ago, I took this beginner astrology class, and I didn't really get that much out of it except, and I've talked about this before on my channel, but I learned what the big three is. And if you guys want to see what the big three is, I've done a video. I'll leave it in the cards if I can remember. I don't even ever leave cards anymore because I don't remember. I don't know. I just never think of for one, I notice that the cards always get in the way if I have titles up on the top, or if there's something going on. I don't like cards to be, when you click the card above where it shows you other videos that you can link to, it always they cover things up, or you can't even see what my actual video is. So I just stopped using them because they were actually messing with my content. So I don't ever use those. So if I can remember, I'll put it in there. But man, that already looks so pretty. So I found out what my big three was, and I found out that I had a Gemini moon, and honestly couldn't make peace with it. I have history in my family with a Gemini who's not safe for me. And so my emotional safety has been compromised so many times by this person that I just had, Gemini's had a bad taste in my mouth. And I learned actually in that class that a lot of times what your moon sign is might be this person in my life. I don't want to straight put her on blast, but anyway, anywhoosies. When I found out that I had a Gemini moon, it was actually a game changer for me because it made all the crazy things about me make a lot more sense. And ever since then, I have been trying to learn more about astrology. So basically, I've always been into sun signs. I ask every person I've ever met what their sign is, almost immediately. My auntie was always into that, so I just... Oh no, I was going to do a halo eye. Shit. Well, I still can. Okay, I'm still going to do a halo eye. I'm just going to go right here. I really just probably fucked that up, but oh well. Okay, I'm going to try to fix this. I'm going to keep that really in the crease so I can keep that tight. So yeah, I followed the Grateful Dead and shit, and I basically have asked a million people what their signs are. And so all the research that I had ever done in my life was basically personal. It was just based on my experiences. I didn't read a whole lot about it, but I just met people and made assessments based on their personalities and my life experience with them. And I probably have gone way too far in that shit. So, moving forward, I take this class and I don't learn that much like that was useful for me, except for what my big three was. That was the prominent take home for me, was that my big three, I'm a Scorpio rising with a Gemini moon and a Virgo sun. And so that explains a lot. Basically, over the last like 4 years, I've kind of put a lot into learning how to read my chart. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about how those things actually play into my life today, currently, how they help me. So when I let go of my salon, I was pretty scared about it, only because I had a boyfriend at the time and I didn't really, like, my friends, they're down, right? They're down for me going after my dreams. Like, they support me. But I had a boyfriend and I didn't want to have to explain myself to him. And so I was actually pretty scared that I was going to fail. And now that boyfriend's gone. And so who gives a fuck? Note to self, don't give a fuck. Do whatever you're gonna do. He was always super supportive, actually. So when I started, like, realized that I really just wanted to move forward in a different direction, like with my channel and with my online presence and the things that irons I have in the fire now, like my courses, like I want to start like helping people in a different kind of way and serving in that way. I read my star chart, my natal chart is what it's called. And I figured out all of the placements that would be strong for my business and strong for my money, and like where my strengths lie, like as far as business goes, and like what's the truest and most aligned route for me to work and make money and serve others, add value and get money. Basically everything in my star chart says, everything in my natal chart says that, like, I need to be teaching people, I need to be building huge networks, I need to be teaching big groups of people, I need to act as a wise guide to people. Like, everything in my astrology, like, points to this, what I'm doing. It was just reaffirming, like, it only reaffirmed what I already knew. So, like, basically, like, what it helped me do was teach me how to, like, get motivated, how to create something that was going to be true to myself. So one of the things for me is that I have a lot of, I'm going to say a lot of things that aren't going to make a lot of sense to you guys, but I have a lot of planets in the sign of Libra, and Libra is the sign of, I'm going to use this color Fun and Games with my Wayne Goss number 19, and I'm going to go like 70% on and 30% off. I was going to do this with the Lure palette, but I did a look with my P. Louise palette yesterday, and it was so good that I couldn't not use this today. I was like compelled. So I'm really staying on this red because I really want to fuchsia this up to match the shirt I'm wearing. So essentially it just reaffirmed everything I already knew, and it showed me like the ways that I'm going to be the most successful and the ways that I'm going to be able to help other people the most. And so that was like the first thing I learned, like where my energy should be placed. I learned where I should direct my focus in order to make revenue for my business, and also like what I truly, my spirit feels passionate about. So Libra is also a sign of beauty. Like, Libras really appreciate beauty. And so, of course they do. Of course that's the thing. Like, of course, like I was already doing that. I already know that. Like, I love beauty. And so off I went. So that was the first thing. And then currently, in current events, you know, my guy just left me, and when we got together, he's a Gemini, and so when we got together, my moon is in Gemini, and so I thought that we were like this match made in heaven, and I was certain that, you know, my sponsor and I had talked like a year prior, and basically we kind of mentioned that like I might end up getting together with a Gemini, because I have, my moon is in Gemini in my 8th house, which is the house of intimacy. So like it was just like a passing thought, and then I ended up like falling madly in love with this amazing Gemini. And so that was it. Like, I just thought that was it. And honestly, I think that's one of the things that's kind of fucking with my head a little bit, is that like why I'm having a hard time letting it go is because these like cosmic, like, synchronicities between him and I'm like, I've stopped trying to kick out. Like, I did everything in my power to like leave an opening, an energetic opening for him to come back. And like, that isn't gonna happen. So I gave my last like thrash. Like, I've been trying to kick out. I thrashed around a little bit. And then my last thrash was like on Saturday morning, I woke up and I like accidentally watched a video that he had sent me. It was an accident, actually. Like, it was just in my shit. And oh my God, like, this guy, his voice like puts a spell on me. Like, and I heard his voice in this video and it fucked me up, bitch. I was like pretty messed up about it. And like, just like a final, like the final last kick, I sent him a message that said, God, I miss your voice. And like, he hasn't even opened it. So like, okay, fine. Like, I'm done. I'm over it. I'm like doing what I need to do to move on. I get it. You don't want to have anything to do with me. Whatever. So I'm at my daughter's bout and we're on a break, and she's like, I was there alone and pretty bummed out about it because like I thought he was gonna be at those with me, and so did she. And basically, like, both of us were bummed out, and she felt bad because I was there alone. And so she was like not wanting to go hang out with her friends, and I was like, dude, I'm totally good. And so I started like Googling shit about Gemini men, and fucked if it isn't all right there. It's like all right there. The ghost, the fact that like Gemini men can't handle any kind of conflict. If anything gets unfun, they leave and probably will never come back. And every single thing I read said, they ghost you, they ghost you, they ghost you, they ghost you. And I was like, dude, that's crazy. Like, it was literally spelled out exactly what he did to me. And I was like, oh my God. So like, he's just being who he was created to be. And it made me feel a lot better. Like, he's just doing what he is born to do. Like, that's just who he is. It almost made me love him even more. Like, in fact, I think it might have made me love him more. And it just gave me so much acceptance. And like, you know, he can do whatever he needs to do. Poor Gemini. That was like a thing. And like, once I read that, it just changed everything for me. And so then my friend fucking called me like a couple weeks ago, and she was like, dude, the North Node, and this is again mumbo jumbo that's not going to make any sense to you, but the moon has a North Node and a South Node. And a quick breakdown is that the North Node is your destiny and the South Node is your past. Or like the past life that you're like moving away from. So what you're moving away from to what you're moving towards, South Node to North Node. And okay, so she called me like a couple weeks ago or like a week ago and was like, buddy, the North Node just went into Aries, or is going into Aries. And she was like, I think you need to like look into what that means for you. And at the time I was like, okay, yeah, I'm all about it. I'm in. But like on the inside, I was like, I wish I was dead. I don't give a fuck if this whole planet burns. Right? And so like, I did not do that because at that moment I felt like pretty inconsolable. So I didn't do that. Well, then yesterday I read something on Instagram, because I have a ton of astrology shit on my Instagram and human design shit. Like, that's kind of a thing. It said the North Node going into Aries means dropping all your codependent relationships and focusing everything you have on your personal goals, finances, and your businesses. And I was like, what the fuck? That's crazy. And so honestly, the whole last week I've been really focused on work, just because what I'm doing with you guys here is like what I would want to be doing if I wasn't with Dave. So anyway, so I've been working a lot anyways, just because like I've been basically laying in my bed, and fortunately I'm like blessed to have a job where I can like work my ass off from bed. And I've just been doing a lot of writing, and I felt like really inspired, oddly really inspired, because I've been going back and forth through bouts of like inspiration and then total sadness, and like inspiration and then total sorrow, and like grief and loss, and like you know, ruminating on all those like things that you made up in your mind about how your relationship was gonna pan out, and like then like going back to like focusing on you guys and what I can do here. And so anyway, like I've already been kind of doing that, and then I read that and was like, of course that is. Like he just intuited that, and like in that moment, I actually felt like he did me a favor, because honestly, as long as I was with him, I was never gonna pull this shit off. And it made me happy, and it actually made me feel like he did me a favor, honestly. Like, I don't know how else to explain it, but it just really changed everything for me and made me excited that like I get to do this. And so those are the kinds of things that astrology does in your life. Like, you can believe it or not, but that shit's real, dude. I just thought that it was interesting as fuck that that's the deal. Like, now's the time for me to focus on making money and like building a business and like doing the deal. So anyways, thanks, Dave. I mean, I'm not happy about it. I'm super sad, but like it can be both. I can be happy and sad. So I don't have any choice. If I had a choice, I would not choose this. However, since I don't have a choice, I might as well just see like the blessing in it and like see the truth. That's really what's important to me, is like seeing the truth. Did I tell you guys that I was using Champion right here? I'm just gonna go back and forth into these colors and just kind of make everything super, super cute. I always love doing pink looks, you guys know. I'm just kind of trying to blend this up right here. I love this P. Louise palette, it's so great. I don't use astrology to like see who I am. I already know who I am. I use it to see like, what can I do about it, right? Like, I already know who I am. Tell me something I can fucking do about it. You know what I mean? And so that's the way that I use my chart. I use my chart to see what planets lie where, so I can like lean into them to find like an edge or to find a solution to a problem. And so what my strengths are and like how I can use them to like better my life and better the lives of other people. So I'm trying to get this up a little higher so it looks a little more halo-y, because I fucked that up. It's like I'm a little robot. I just do the same thing over and over again, and then I forget when I want to do anything different. There it is. I've lost so much weight in the last 2 weeks that I feel like my eyes are a little saggy. There we go. Come here. Try to get this. There. Yeah. Just gonna. No additional product, I'm just giving this a little sweepy poo. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same thing on this other side. And I'm just gonna use probably my rougher 03. And I'm just gonna do the same thing on the bottom. I want to kind of make that darkness right there a little bit more lower. A Voldemort M506 into the color Fun and Games, that pink. I wish I would have read that shit before I got together with him. Everybody warned me about dating a Gemini, and I was like, oh, fuck, you guys don't know nothing. You guys don't know what we have. Anyways, that shit ain't set in stone. It just seemed really helpful when I read that, and it was like literally broke down the entire thing that he did exactly word for word. Like exactly how he dealt with that situation, exactly everything. And like, I'm not saying that he was in the wrong or anything. He did what he had to do, but I'm just saying like exactly, like step by step, exactly what he did is literally all over the internet. It's crazy. Even if I would have read that shit, I thought I was special. So even if I would have read that, which I probably did read several things that said those kinds of things. Him and I read our astrology shit all the time, and we really dug to find things that like said we would be compatible. And we found one book that said if my moon was his sun, that it could work. And he bought me that book for Christmas. So like, I thought I was special, so I didn't think that shit applied. I thought what we had was different than anything else, so it wouldn't have even mattered. It wouldn't have made a difference if I would have read it or not. I'm just deepening up the halo piece underneath. Get that sick look going. Yeah, I'm gonna go in with my P. Louise cut crease brush and my NYX glitter primer and just kind of go like this so I can see exactly where I want the top of my halo to go. And then I'm going to go like this. I'm going to go into the color Soulstone in the Moonfall palette with Jessup 234. And I think I'm just going to go all in on this. Oh yeah, that's perfection, honestly. This is going to be super sparkly in the sun too. It's going to look nice. Just tapping out those edges. Then I'm going to go in with this. Okay, and then I'm going to use the Divina Yummy Licks with the Voldemorphe pencil brush from the Ice Lake collection. Then I'm just going to give that a little tappy. And I'm just going to go all the way up to the top of the... I'm making it pretty prominent just because I want it to be pretty bright. I'm going to put this on my lower lash line, but I'm going to use a different brush. I'm going to use the Kaleidos pencil brush, and I'm going to go into that Yummy Licks, and I'm going to use this on my lower lash line in the center. That looks really cute. I even kind of like the fallout because it's like really faint and it just kind of trickles down just right there. Let's not ruin a good thing, Sorenson. Okay, so I think maybe I'm just going to put a tiny little bit of this in the inner corner just to give it a little boost because I can't leave my inner corner dark. I don't know why. Probably just because I want to use more shimmer. Okay. Right, that's the look. I'm going to go finish the rest of my face and I'll be back when I'm done. So this is the manifesto, the pièce de résistance. I used my Kiss eye wigs, what did I use? It took me quite a while to pull this off. I was like getting way too picky. Okay, so I used my Unearthly Cosmetics Blush and Punch, my Unearthly Cosmetics Low Light in Spellbinding, of course. My Urban Decay 24/7 gel liners, I used Alkaline on the outside and Woodstock in the center to kind of give that more of a halo. And then I used Beat It by Lime Crime, and over the top I used Juicy Cherry Wet Cherry Gloss. And I think it turned out all right. I literally could not find a lipstick that I felt was appropriate. So the reason why I was telling you guys all the things about astrology, well, one, because like I've been having a lot going on in my life and I usually just try to share from my experience of what I'm going through in that time. And those breakthroughs have been like paramount for me in the last couple days. I felt it opportune, I guess, that I could like talk about that to you guys because I included those things in my program that I created for you guys. And so I'm actually going to use your natal chart to like figure out the same things for you that I figured out for myself. What are some things that you can lean on? Where are your strengths? Anything that's going to light you up. Go check out my course. The link will be listed below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell because you can't wait to see what happens next. Hit the like button if you like this look, or if you just like my sparkling personality and my boyish charm, and hang out with me in the comments because I fucking love it. If you got like halfway through this video and you're like, oh my god, she's so pretty until she opens her big fucking mouth, then go check me out on Instagram. I don't talk as much on Instagram. And if you were like, don't sugarcoat it, Katie, why don't you tell us how you really feel, then go check out my Patreon because I don't hold anything back on my Patreon. I go live every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. See you next Tuesday. Thank you guys so much for watching. You could have been anywhere, but you were here wasting your time with me, and I totally appreciate you. Later. See ya.